Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So today we're going to talk to you about USB-C versus Lightning versus absolutely no more ports anymore apparently in the new lineup of iPhones. So this is my iPhone 12 mini and it came with a Lightning to USB-C cable. Great! Now how do I charge the sucker? Apple went and took out all the power supplies. So I had to have a USB-C to standard USB adapter. Then I could use any of my Apple chargers or a USB charger period, and then I was able to charge my phone. At the time I didn't have a wireless charger either. So this really kind of cheesed me off when I got this phone and no power supply, because the first run of the iPhone 12s actually had chargers with them, and then all of a sudden Apple takes them out and I got the surprise when I got my phone, and I'm like, great, no charger. What the heck do I do with this mess? So I did have a standard Lightning to USB cable, did a little experiment. Okay, can I plug this in without cooking anything? Turned out, yes, you're completely fine. So you could actually use a Lightning to USB cable if you wanted to and just not use the cable that's included. So there's actually no benefit whatsoever for them to use a Lightning to USB cable with the iPhone 12 lineup of phones, because there's absolutely no speed advantage here. I mean, USB-C is supposed to be faster, right? Well, how can it be any faster when you bottlenecked it with a cable that's USB-C on one end and Lightning on the other end? That's a bottleneck. That's like a chokeout, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Anyways, and a lot of people are like, well, why doesn't Apple just go all USB-C? I mean, they've already done USB-C on their laptops, you know. Definitely you're going to find that on the new iMacs. It's going to have USB-C there. And of course, my iPad Air 4th generation is USB-C. And it comes with a C to C cable, as well as a C power supply, because they're still supplying power supplies, at least for now, with our iPads that are USB-C. Now, I have some things I want to talk to you guys about. The biggest thing is the no more port thing, and I want to do that first, and then we'll talk about Lightning to C and do our little versus competition on that one to talk to you about what I found out. So, if Apple goes with no port whatsoever, this is like cutting the snake's head off. And when you do that in the real world, all the followers are gone, because they're like, oh, the God is now dead. The God is useless, right? So that's the end of that. So sales are going to go right down. They'll only be able to sell to Mac users that have Mac computers, okay? And you're going to have to airdrop from your iPhone 13, which is what they're apparently planning on starting with for no more ports. You'll have to airdrop anything you do on your phone to your iMac or your laptop or Mac Pro Tower that would have USB-C. I am actually quite disappointed in the PC world, because when I got my laptop a little over a year ago, of course it came with a USB-C port, which is actually useless, by the way. We'll talk about that. But I'm really disappointed that even my brand new Ryzen 7 Tower did not have USB-C porting. It's got all the greatest, newest, fastest, normal USB ports up the wazoo, and there's a lot of them that are still not even wired in yet, but I still have a lot that are, and it's like, no C? Like, what the heck? So now I'm going to have to find a peripheral device somehow that I can go to C with, or do a conversion, you know, type of thing. And there are converter connectors you can get, which is no big deal. I actually have a converter connector that will go from C to standard USB, but that's not the point. We want straight USB-C only because we want that speed advantage, right? So if Apple goes with no port, that is going to destroy all of their future iPhone sales for iPhones that have no port to the PC world. Now, there are a lot of Mac users out there, but there are more PC users than there are Mac users still. And a majority of those PC users do happen to adore and love the iPhone as well as the iPad. And Apple has already started with USB-C on the iPad, which is fine, and there are converter plugs, so you're good to go, because I do it all the time. But when it comes to the iPhone, though, there is no AirDrop technology available in the PC world, because AirDrop is Apple's sole technology. It's their hardware, it's their software, it's part of their core operating system, and unless they're willing to license out that technology to the PC world, where motherboards can now have it built in, or you could have a card that you could put in, which would give you that port wirelessly available to you, which means Microsoft is going to have to write the software, or Apple will have to supply the software. Something's going to have to be done. Somebody's going to have to do something to get AirDrop available in the PC world, which would support PCs from X generation to future generations. So that's something to be considered about, is if you are an iPhone freakazoid and you own a PC, if you bite into the apple of the new Apples that will have no ports, you will no longer be able to get your files onto your PC unless you also own an iPad that has a port and cable connection to your PC, which means you AirDrop from your phone to your iPad, and then you can hook up your iPad to your PC. Then you're fine. Otherwise, directly, you're going to be screwed, and this is a bad thing. Very bad move for Apple to go with no ports whatsoever. A lot of people are saying, why didn't they just go USB-C port? Why are they still leaving a lightning port on a brand new phone? I mean, this phone is on steroids and then some, and this is just the 12 mini, right? So a flagship phone has no USB-C? What are they thinking? I agree with you in many ways. However, let's discuss USB-C and Lightning now. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages, obviously, okay? Now, I have two Lightning adapters here to show you guys. Now, this is a Lightning to USB. This is great for hooking up to your Lightning device, okay, a device with a Lightning port. If you're going to be using that device, for example, to program my Yamaha DTX12 percussion pad or other device that has Apple software to program that device with, that is fantastic for this. It doesn't chew a lot of amperage. The voltage is always consistently the same, okay? It's going to use the voltage. That's there. Not a lot of amperage, but these devices do not require amperage really to worry about, so it's fine. And I use my 7th gen iPad, which we're recording this video on today. I use it to program that device with because I can't use any other device to program. It's either do it manually the long way around, which would take me probably about a week to program a drum kit, or I can do it in like 10 minutes by using the software for my iPad. So this connector is very handy. And I did a little experiment. I thought, well, I've got flash drives, and we have the ability to get extra storage capabilities now on iPads with using flash drives, right? Which means we just have to plug the sucker into here, and away we go. So I thought, all right, let's try this, see what happens. On the 16 gig stick that's sticking in here now, we're okay. We can do this. So I tried another brand of 16 gig stick. That gave me a bit of a hassle, didn't want to mount. I'm like, what's going on here? But if I unplug it and plug it in with the thing already there, I was fine. All right, let's try 32 gig direct in. Nope, wouldn't do it. I had to unplug, plug back in. And even at the best of it, it wasn't that stable of a connection point, right? It's like it's none of this, and it's not this. It's chewing a lot of amperage. The 64 gigs sticks that I have, forget it. It ain't going to happen. So there's not enough amperage coming out of a Lightning port. Now, Lightning ports are slower than USB-C. I will agree with you guys on that, okay? It's not a huge amount, realistically, in my testing anyways, but it is there, and USB-C is faster, right? But we are lacking amperage for sure. So I also have another adapter that's Lightning to HDMI. You'll notice there's a Lightning port on here. You must have your charger hooked into this adapter in order to get the video picture to show on your screen. Regardless of your screen size, it makes no difference. You're not running an HDMI bus out to an HDMI monitor unless you have your charger in here. And the charger will not charge the iPad at the same time, at least not the third-party connectors that I buy, okay? The real Apple connector like this, apparently you can, and it's fine, but that's kind of a, I don't know, maybe the guy got a fluke, who knows. I can't swear to that because I don't have an authentic Apple one, and I ain't spending $45 for that when I spent like under 20 bucks for both of these. So, let's talk about USB-C now. USB-C, now, the other thing I do want to point out first, these connectors are extremely strong. And this is a male end connector going into a female area, and that's a very strong connection point. Some people would argue this, but I'm telling you it is much stronger. Also, if you get dust bunnies in that port on your device with the Lightning, it's a lot easier to clean out the dust bunnies without any issues. So that's another good point. And I do find that these Lightning plugs, by the way, are extremely strong on this end and on the receiving end of the actual device. They are stronger, but they do lack amperage, which is a huge thing. There is more finagling to do. Now, there are literally thousands of options out there for Lightning adapters for the devices that are using Lightning ports, like the iPhones and the iPads. There are thousands of them, and Apple makes a killing because the Lightning technology is theirs. Okay, they solely own all the rights to that. So they have licensed it out to many manufacturers that want to create Lightning devices. So they can make some money too, right? Well, Apple makes money too off every single sale of every single connector and connector type. They make money off every single one of those companies, which is like a multi-million-dollar a year industry for them just on the accessories alone. Now, Apple's gone to Type-C now. Now they've pretty much lost their shirt on accessories because though they do have their own Type-C adapters, which they know they will sell to the true Apple freaks, okay, their income from those adapters are not near what it is on Lightning. So they do still want to keep the Lightning bus around for a while. Hence another reason why the flagship phones now still have a Lightning port instead of USB. They want to keep a good thing going as long as they can. But then they thought, let's just do away with all the ports. To heck with it, right? Anyways, bad idea. Very bad idea. So we have USB-C. Now, the main outside connector, I will say, the outside portion of this, very strong and durable. However, when it comes to the inside connector on your device, be it, well, I have the iPad Air 4th generation, it does have USB-C. That little connector inside that has to feed under the inside of this hole, so basically I call this reverse Lightning, is extremely thin and extremely brittle, okay? This is a stronger technology. Physically, this is stronger. And I don't see any reason why Apple cannot make a Lightning port to be equally as fast as USB-C and equally as good. It does mean some other hardware changes to supply more amperage, yes, to get away with the thing that we're about to talk about. So USB-C, it's on all the new laptops from Apple. It's been on Apple laptops actually for quite some time. They are going to be, of course, moving this into their iMac line, probably their Mac Pro line as well for the iMac Pros and the Mac Towers. In future, you'll probably find that USB-C is going to be a standardized thing on Mac computers. And you'll also find they will still be doing USB-C likely on their tablets for quite a while too. Although, of course, going portless on the phones, stupid thing for them to do. Anyways, so this adapter is made by A-Plum, and I've shown this on my channel before. Originally, this was from a sponsor for my wife, and we both had the exact same laptops with USB-C. One thing we had a problem with was trying to get this sucker to work properly, if at all. And even to this day, it still will not work right, even with the newest version of Windows 10, still does not work right on a PC. However, you plug this little puppy into my iPad, I can fill up every single port, including the HDMI, all at once, and have absolutely no issues. Okay, I can even charge. See, the USB-C plug on this is a charge port, which means it's for charging. In this case, say I need to charge my iPhone. Okay, my 12 came with a Lightning to Type-C, so I can take the Type-C end of the cable and I can recharge my iPhone off of my iPad, which is great, or off of my MacBook if I had one. Okay, now the MacBook Air I had 2 ports on it. Okay, not near enough, but I could transfer files, I could AirDrop. I have options, right? But this is a charge-only port. That's all it's for. You plug power into this, it's not going to power your device. Trust me, I tried it. It didn't work. But I can still have even my biggest sticks. I can even plug a regular, external hard drive into the back of this thing and still fill up all my ports and power everything off the USB-C off my tablet. And I'm like, that's fantastic. And no glitches, no hiccups, nothing. Plugged it in, of course, to my dad's brand spanking new cool laptop that he bought. This would have been about a little over 2 years ago now that he got that. And we had no problem being able to do the full review on this for my wife, for her sponsor for this. And then, of course, I adopted this from my wife and scored it because it's useless on a PC, but great on Apple devices. But the thing works absolutely flawless. Why? Because USB-C has a lot of amperage in that power line. Same voltage as Lightning, but more amperage available. So I can run any USB stick I want, whatever, doesn't matter. Where, with this thing, I couldn't even get, well, I got one of my 16s to work, but the other one didn't really want to work unless I plugged it in first and then plugged it in. And then, of course, 3264s, forget it. This, I can plug in whatever I want to it, hook it into my iPad. Fantastic! Yeah! Okay, but it does have a weak link, and that's where the plug itself, this plug-in, is fine. It's when you come to the device that has the USB-C male part, this is the problem. That's a very thin piece of fibrous fiberglass, okay, because PCB boards are basically made out of fiberglass, and then they have their layers of copper on them for their connections, and it's a very, very thin piece. If you even looked at Lightning to this, like I said, USB is a reverse Lightning system, okay? So, that barely touches in there. So, you're talking about something that is more than twice as thin that this has to plug onto. That's a very big weak point. And if you get dust bunnies in there somehow, good luck getting them out. That is going to be very snaky, very tricky. And if you happen to just push up on that skinny little connector piece, you will snap it right off the connection point. So, USB-C, though it is really good, it's really fast, does have a lot of amperage to it. Apple's definitely not making money on third-party adapters on this deal, but it is a weak point, okay? It is a major weak point to me. And yet people will crab at me saying, Lightning is weak and they break a lot. I don't know what it is with people. I mean, I've never broken a screen on an Apple device, ever, other than my iMac, but that was not my doing. That was some idiot at Apple that decided to glue my screen in my iMac in the wrong place where the knife tool couldn't even exist, okay? So not my fault on that one. But in general everyday use, I have never broken a screen otherwise. Definitely never on an iPad or an iPhone. Never broken it. Never had a connector go bad. Ever. Okay? Yet I've seen people, for some reason, they snapped this off. I don't know how. I really don't get it. But I've seen so many destructive things. It's just insane. But hey, you know what? Not everybody takes care of their stuff. Okay? I take care of myself. I pay a lot of money for my stuff. I want to take care of it, and I want it to last for the long haul. So, given options and choices, I think that if you're very careful, USB-C has a lot of advantages to it. Though, I still believe that the connector itself, even if you are very careful and you never break that connector inside your device, you will wear it out quicker because of all the plug it in, unplug, plug it in, unplug, plug it in, unplug. This, I find, is going to be something that they have to resolve. Now, my suggestion for resolving that perhaps would be to maybe increase the size of the USB-C systems physically by just maybe even a 1/2 millimeter, okay? So even a 1/2 millimeter thicker connection point on the main device, and of course allowing for that into the plug-in, that would be a much stronger, better design, which would also allow thicker copper plating for the wear factor over time in and out of the connection area, okay? That would be something that Apple could do, the PC world could do, okay? Not a big issue, and it's not really going to chew up any more real space or real estate inside your device than what it currently does. There is the space to do this. So what they need to do is improve upon the main design of USB-C on both ends of the fence, the outside plug and the inside portion. They do that, they'll have a fantastic system that will last probably longer than the device will. You know, even with people getting rough at times, it would be a lot better and more durable that way. And they're not going to suffer any amperage loss for power source or any of that. It's not going to make it any really much bulkier than it is now. You know, it's minimalistic. I mean, 1/2 millimeter is not a lot of space, okay? But it's enough that on both ends of the fence, you increase that by even a 1/2 millimeter everything, and just slightly thicker copper plating for your connection points. That would be the best thing that any of these companies could do. Now, as far as Lightning goes, I think that Lightning does need to actually go only because A, it is slower, B, it is more of a pain in the neck to hook in certain devices, because you are going to require powered hub systems to get any kind of multitasking of devicing going on. I mean, I look at it this way. I plug this in. I've got a keyboard and a mouse that's USB. Those are the plugs for them. And I plug this into my iPad Air 4th Gen. I still have a charge port available for charging device. I still have my HDMI to go to a large screen if I want to do video editing on my iPad, but on a larger screen. I still have another standard USB port, and my 2 card reader ports here available to me. I mean, and I don't need a powered system to power this hub, which is fantastic. You know, I like that. No extra junk. You know, whereas when I try hooking my iPad 7th Gen up with this thing to HDMI, that's a lot of extra cabling, wire, confusion, mess on the table. It's nothing but a pain in the neck, okay? So, you know, but as far as, you know, just the single USB adapter goes, I'm okay with this with one of my 16 gig sticks to be able to, you know, back up data off of there if I wanted to do it that way to a 16 gig stick. But if my file's too big, I got a problem. But also, this is definitely just as is, great for programming my device with, which is what I needed it for anyhow. So that works for me. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Sorry the video was a little bit on the long side. I really wanted to go through this and explain it. Probably missed a few things either way. The only other thing I could add into this video extra before we take off would be if you do have a newer iDevice, of course, that does have a lightning port and comes with a lightning port to USB-C cable, then get yourself a C to standard USB adapter, and then you can use any USB wall art to recharge your phone with, and also make it very easy to hook up to your PC computer. Okay? And that's the other problem with USB-C to USB-C. Yeah, unless PC manufacturers start throwing in USB-C ports into their PC towers, or having some sort of a third-party device going that we can hook USB-C in even to my tower, this is going to be a future problem. And with no ports at all, with Apple, that's definitely going to be a real huge problem. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.